So the answer to our overarching question, can distance learning be done with equity for all kids, is a simple yet challenging one. My first response is no. It cannot be done with equity. Still, there is a lot to unpack, and it starts with considering the inequities in California. It starts by delving deep into rural, underserved, and unserved communities, communities like those that I represent in the Central Valley of California. We need to understand what they lack before we can even get to what they need, to be at par with surrounding communities, counties, and regions. For example, in the communities I represent, East Arosi still hasn't had clean drinking water for the past 10 years and must rely on bottled water deliveries to bathe, cook, and clean. And sadly, they still pay for water they can't even use. Students in this 200 plus home community only know that water comes from a bottle and not from their own tap. A true testament of inequity, and yet the issue of broadband access is just one of many in which the residents are without. When this pandemic started, Gedham and Seville were left in the dust from the onset. While many of the school districts that surrounded them transitioned to online education, Gedham and Seville had to hand out packets of schoolwork because of poor broadband infrastructure and limited internet capabilities and devices to distribute. In places like West Goshen and Del Colony, these spaces do not even have a community center where students and families can engage with and build up. With no internet infrastructure whatsoever, communities like these are hidden deep between the silos of wealth to the north and wealth to the south. Sadly, we haven't even addressed our students with learning differences and the challenges that will transpire due to that inequity. You see, I believe we reached a pivotal moment in real time where we need to re-envision what school looks like for the future. We need to muster up the courage to dream big, work hard, and believe in better for the next generation of students in education. We can no longer look back or stay stagnant, something that I think that we all are doing in education. For example, there are two bills in the state legislature that I'm closely looking at that can have a massive impact on underserved and unserved communities with respect to distance learning and broadband access. Though we may not see it in the immediate, if passed, these bills would get us closer to the equity in access to technology, not only for schools, but for communities as a whole. And that is AB 570, which is Aguilar Curry's bill, and SB 1130, which is Gonzalez's bill. And these are game changers for education. In SB 1130, this bill would require the commission to develop, implement, and administer the California Advanced Services Fund program to encourage deployment of 21st century ready communications. And the Gonzalez bill would provide that goal no later than 2024, which again is ways away, but still. Approve funding for infrastructure projects that will provide high capacity, future-proof infrastructure based on current engineering and scientific information at the time of program application. And this bill would require the commission in approving infrastructure projects to approve in providing these high capacities, especially to underserved areas. And then under Aguilar Curry's bill, it would on an annual basis require the State Department of Education in consultation with county offices of education to inventory the needs of local educational agencies for computing devices and internet bandwidth with priority given to schools serving pupils in low-income neighborhoods. The bill would require the State Department of Education to post a report on the inventory on its internet website. So these are just two of many others that we need to tackle at the state level.